Yo, it's your friend Dinner Dog, and yo, we're talking about Gem Farmer here. So this was an April Fool's preset, back in the day. We don't really race it, but a lot of people are always curious about it, and we're happening to be doing a race very shortly on it. So how do we play Gem Farmer? What's it all about, and how can we do it quickly? That's what we're going to figure out in this video. So let's break it down. So what makes Gem Farmer so unique is that you won't find relics anywhere except for sale in the shop. That greedy librarian has taken them all. He's keeping most of them for himself, but he's got some of his finest for sale for 50 grand each. He's got to make off like a bandit here. Okay, so let's break it down. So all relics and a lot of fun equipment are for sale in the shop. You do start the game with random equipment. The and we're going to skip ahead for a second here, but the problem is that all your use items that you get from the prologue and every other item that's going to drop from an enemy is going to be a luck potion, or items that you find in pots and all that kind of stuff. It's all going to be luck potions. So you're not going to get the chance to library card out and like keep your stuff. And quite frankly, you probably wouldn't want to in most cases, anyways. The So that's all good there. Actually, yeah, if you did, then you wouldn't be able to get the jewel sword because the first two skeletons are going to drop a jewel sword and an Alucard shield. The jewel sword, as you can imagine, to get money, and an Alucard shield just to get around. And a little bit of defense because you're probably going to need defense. Because you're not going to get any armor or anything else like that through the game. So you take your jewel sword and your Alucard shield, and you make your way from the beginning of the game all the way to the library. And the librarian's going to hook you up easy with a couple of things here. So if we look at the shop items, so most importantly, Soul of Bat is for sale for 500. That is required to beat the game because you do need flight. Some library cards also for cheap, and Lapis Lazui's. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. My apologies, but we're just gonna say Lapis here. For 500 each, which are very trade banned as well. They give you plus 20 luck. Luck is the most important thing we want in this run for the most part. So yeah, we're gonna want all those bad boys to start. And then all the required items are here. So Holy Glasses, Heart of Lad, Tooth, Rib, Eye, Ring are all there. And some very cool things. Chrysogrim is probably the one we want. Dragon Helm, Dracula Tunic, we definitely don't want Twilight Cloak. And Ring of Varda, all for $50,000. So we need to get all the required relics. So the Vlad relics plus Holy Glasses and Bat. Go to the second castle and beat Dad with probably the Chrysogrim. So yeah, let's get into it here. So how do I farm jewels? What's the best place to do it? And this is the best place to do it. So on the southeast side of the Colosseum, there's this cool highlighted room, and in that room, there are there are 9 blade soldiers in the room. So you've got enemies that are easy to kill, pretty condensedly packed in a room that's fairly easy to reset. That's probably where you want to do it. The Other people have other ideas, I did a bit of research for this. So like when people try to farm for the duplicator, they often go after the spectral sword or the merman in the beginning of the castle, things like that, like repeatable enemies. But when we've actually run this, this has generally been the best place to farm. You got an easy way back here because you've got the teleporter in Aurochs to get you back pretty quickly. So overall, it's a fairly useful place to do your farming. The other place that people suggest, and I'm not going to recommend it, but I'm going to talk about why, is that people always want to say, farm the flea armors in the Duron, right above the librarian, and it's a noble idea, right? When you kill the flea armor and turn it into the flea man, it drops an item potentially. So you kind of get 2 for 1, and then the Durons are there, and then it's very easy to reset the room because there's exits on either side, right? But the problem with that room is that like their drop rates are really bad. Like I got the Blade Soldier compared to the other ones, and like it's not even close. The Duron a little bit, but still falls short on its rare drop. And then the Flea Armor and Flea Man specifically are very poor drop rates. The Now this is with 8 luck, and obviously you're gonna have more than that. But the Blade Soldier is going to be a lot better than the other ones, at least as far as I understand how luck works. The and the other thing is like the flea armors and the flea men are kind of squirrely, right? Like you're gonna get hit a lot. You don't have any armor. Like you could die. Even the Duron is gonna take more than one hit with the jewel sword before you get some extra strength. So, not great, right? Like the time you'll save going back and forth to the librarian probably isn't worth the time it's going to take to get hit and all that kind of stuff, and the poor drop rates. So yeah, totally, as far as I'm concerned, not worth. You go ahead and experiment, but I do think that the room in the Coliseum is probably the best one. The Now you say like, why do I want to go back to the library? Like, why is that so important? Well, because A, that's where you buy things, but the other thing is that you max out in gems at 99. So you're actually probably going to make a couple of trips to the librarian, the just to offload your gems. And because every time you max out on like your zircons and stuff, you're not going to be able to pick up any more. So it's potentially lost efficiency. So you have to balance, how often do I go back to the shop with how long do I stay and forego those zircons or potentially aquamarines. All right. So generally what I think you want to do for this preset is you want to do your best to complete your run in 3 shop runs after your initial arrival, of course. So typically the way I'm strategizing this right now, and I'll put it in the comments if I find a better strategy, is that you want to get 2 required items each run, and then hopefully over 3 runs you have enough for a chrysogrim at the end. The Because you need that, you'll probably need it to beat Dracula. Like trying to beat Dracula with your fists, or the jewel sword is going to be quite a time and probably not worth the time. The So let's take a look. So why am I saying 3 runs here? So if we look at the sellable gem list here, right? This is how much money you get for gems. This is how much you get for 99 if that's applicable, right? Now keep in mind that your luck stat, as far as I know, and I looked around the internet and people are saying the same thing. I don't have a look at the code. Please, code people, figure this out. It'd be cool. Is that luck doesn't affect the drop gems, but it does affect the drop rate for sure. So the more gems that drop, the more likely you're going to get something that's better, right? Just through like a lottery system. So here's the deal, right? Like going back with 99 zircons is kind of shitty, right? Like you can't even buy like one like relic for it, right? Going back with 99 aquamarines and a zircon, that's $94,000 in change. And if you add 4 turquoise to that, you're gonna have $100,000. That's why I'm saying you kind of want to do 3 runs. Because you need to have 3 runs at minimum, or you got to do $300,000 at minimum to get the 5 Vlad's bat and holy glasses. The And then ideally you'd also get a Chris. I mean, you're gonna have to get a Chrysogrim. Like if you try to defeat Dracula with the jewel sword, you're gonna be there forever. So your ideal outload, as far as I'm concerned, is you get 2 lapis, 3 library cards, the Chrysogrim for a grand total of $353,000. The So you could look to get the other items in the shop. Like if we go back up here, you know, we've got Dragon Helm, which is really cool. Dracula Tunic's the only real armor. Twilight Cloak sucks. Varda's cool, but I don't think you really want any of those. So it's a bad time, right? Like Dragon Helm is very cool, but like, do you really want to spend $50,000 on it? Like an additional run just to reduce Dracula's defense? Probably not. The Chrysogrim's a beast, right? Dracula Tunic is cool for armor purposes, and you got to keep in mind there are no health items, right? So the only way you're going to be able to increase your health is through like soul steals and saves and stuff like that. So if you were going to buy any of the bottom 4 here, like Dracula Tunic might just be the one. It gives you a bit of attack. It's got decent defense. Like if you're worried about dying, like that's the one you want. Or I guess Varda, because Varda is going to give you about like 14 defense. So it's probably better than the Dracula Tunic. All things considered, because you'll have more offense. But really, I don't think they're worth it. Like if you're comfortable with Dracula, just go and kill him with a Chrysogrim and Shaft. Like you should be able to do that just fine. The thing you do want to prioritize though is the Eye of Vlad. So the Eye of Vlad gives you 10 luck. So in your first run back, make sure you're grabbing the Eye of Vlad. Like in terms of Vlad relics, the like Eye of Vlad and maybe Ring are really good. Even like you could justify maybe like Rib, because you could get some extra defense and you don't want to stop as often. I don't think that you need more than one to kill these guys anyways with the jewel sword, but if you're finding problems with offense, like grab the tooth early, but certainly grab the eye. The eye is the one you want. Get the extra 10 defense, and you're good to go from there. So looking at the top items, you definitely want at least one of each of these, and realistically, two lapis to start. So that's going to come across at $2,000 reduce. So here's the play I think you want to have. So the problem I see is that, or a resource you want to have, which is somewhat limited, is the luck potion. So 70 seconds of plus 20 luck, I think, is probably pretty good. So when you're going to the shop the first time, when you don't have bat and all that stuff, like you haven't got anything, right? I think the play is that once you've got $2,000, you might want to consider turning off the jewel sword. You'll forego jewels, but you'll also pick up luck potions, and then the luck potion should give you more jewels later. That's probably worth it. So like, and there's a couple of pots and stuff you can break to get some things, like some easy items. But the more luck potions you've got, the better. So I kind of like think that if you can, like, if you get a turquoise here, right? Like, so you get a turquoise drop, right? Okay, you've got pretty much everything except for one extra lapis, right? And if you know you've picked up a couple of zircons or an aquamarine, then you're like, okay, I know I've got what I need. I'm gonna go, right? I'm gonna put back on my fist, and I'm just gonna fist guys. Hopefully, get some luck potion drops. And then take it from there. It might be a bad take. I don't know. Like, but that's at least my initial thought. Is if you can get a couple extra drops, then you'll probably be better off. The and and then you can use the luck potions more frequently. Anyways, that's all for this one here. So this gives you a pretty good strategy of what to do here. If you've got experiences that are different than mine, because I have very little experience of this, but I've certainly studied up on it. Hit it up in the comments. I'm sure that I've made some mistakes or there's some optimizations that can be made. And yeah, it's probably a fun meme race we'll do like once every like 6 months or so. So having some knowledge of this is pretty cool. That's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers, eh?